A continuous random variable has probability density function defined by f of t is k squared over 3 exponential negative kt, t greater than 0 or 0 elsewhere. Determine the value of k, the mean, the variance, the median, and the interquartile range. Are we together? So you know very well that when you are finding the probability of x, here is not x, here we are now having our random variable list, isn't it? Of t between a and b, then you integrate from a to b of f of t dt. So if this a to b is the whole range, then this should be equal to the whole range of a probability measure, which is 1. So here we have our, when we integrate from a to b of f of t dt, we are supposed to get 1 if a to b is the whole range of the probability function there. Are you seeing? So this probability density function, what is f of t? Is this when t is greater than 0. When t is greater than 0, it means it is from 0 to infinity. Are you seeing that? So it means our limits a is 0 and our b is infinity. So if we integrate from 0 to infinity of f of t, which is k squared over 3, a constant you put outside. You can factorize outside, isn't it? See, k over 3 is a constant. Yes. Then you remain with exponential negative kt dt. So if you integrate over the whole of this range, you are supposed to get the whole range of a probability measure, which is 1. So you start. Here we have x squared over 3. If you integrate an exponential function, it remains the way it is, isn't it? Then you divide by the constant of the inner function, which is negative k. Meaning if you differentiate minus kt, you get negative k, because t is the variable. Do you see that? Are we together? Negative k. Then you put your limits is from 0 to infinity. Are we together? I remove the constant outside. K squared divided by k. So you remain with negative k over 3. So this negative will be here. Then this k cancels with 1k. You remain with the k over. Then inside, start substituting. So it means this negative k has gone outside. So if it has gone outside, you remain with minus exponential negative kt from 0 to infinity, isn't it? To be equals to what? Are we together? So to be equals to 1. So this is equals to this is equals to 1, isn't it? So start. When you put infinity, what is exponential negative infinity? So we have negative k over 3, substitute, exponential. You simply choose a very big value. So you just say exponential negative, even 1 billion. That is infinity. 1 million. That is infinity. It will give you the same answer. 0. When you put a very big value to represent infinity. Are you seeing that? You get? 0. You get 0. Then it is minus when it is 0. So you get exponential 0. See, anything raised to power 0 is 1. Are we together? To be equals to 1. So what do we have here? 0 minus 1 is 0 minus 1. Negative 1. So negative 1 times minus k over 3. You get positive k over 3. So 0 minus 1 here, you get negative 1. So negative k over 3 times negative 1, you will end up with this to be k over 3. So what is k? So you multiply both sides by 3. So if you multiply both sides of the equation by 3, you get k to be k is equals to 3. Are we together? K is equals to 3. So once you found k is 3, meaning where there is k in your probability density function, you put what? Now are we together? Where there is k in your probability density function, you put 3. You put 3. So your k is 3. So k squared is 3 squared, isn't it? 3 squared divided by 3, you get 3. 9 over 3 is 3, isn't it? Then here we have minus kt, but k is what? 3. Is 3. So where there is k, you put the value of k, and we'll get our probability density function to be 3 exponential negative 3t when t is greater than 0. Are we together there? You move on. They want the mean. What is the mean? Our variable here is t, so the mean is the expected value of t, isn't it? The mean is the expected value of t. So the mean is the expected value of t. So the mean is the expected value of t. So the expected value of t is going to be t f of t dt. Your limit t is from 0 to infinity. T greater than 0 means from 0 to infinity, isn't it? Are we together? So what is your f of t? Substitute. So we are integrating from 0 to infinity t. F of t is 3 exponential negative 3t, isn't it? So 3 is a constant you put outside, then inside exponential negative 3td. Are we together? See, now we have t times f of t. 3 we factorize outside. So this is integration by parts. This is integration by. So in integration by parts, this is u dv, isn't it? Are we together? It is ud. So your u is equals to t, isn't it? So if you differentiate u with respect to t, so you get du over dt to be equals to 1. So it means du is going to be equals to dt, isn't it? Are we together?
Yes.
Yes. When u is equals to t, you differentiate u with respect to t, you get that is 1. So if you take dt the other side, you get du is equals to dt. After that, the other side you have dv to be exponential negative 3td. The whole of this part is dv, exponential negative 3t dt, isn't it? Are we together? So for you to get v, meaning for you to get rid of this d, you must introduce integral on both sides, isn't it? So the integral goes with d, you remain with v to be. If you integrate an exponential function, so it remains the way it is.
Yes.
Then you divide by that constant of the inner function, negative. See, that constant is negative 3. Meaning if you differentiate negative 3t, you get negative 3. It must always be a constant. If it is not, you are not integrated by parts, isn't it? Are we together? So from there, what do you know? The integral of u dv is always uv minus integral of vd. Are we together? Integral of u dv is always equals to uv minus integral of vd du. So start substituting. Your u dv is what? T exponential. Remember there's 3 outside. Don't forget that, okay? But we've not reached that part, but let us just join it as we go, isn't it?
Yes.
Are we together? Nani, are we together? Good. So what do we have here? We have 3 into integral of 0 to infinity of t exponential negative 3t dt is what? It is 3, which is our constant, which is outside into what? Into uv, isn't it? Meaning what I'm saying, there's 3 outside here, you multiply both sides of the equation by 3, so that you get 3 into this, isn't it? So it is 3 into udv. Are we together? Which we are supposed to get is uv. What is u? T times this, isn't it?
Yes.
T times that, you get negative 1 over 3 t exponential negative 3t, this times this, isn't it? Then put your limits. Put your limits 0 to. The limit is 0 for infinity. Then it is minus vd. What is v? Negative 1 over 3, isn't it? See, negative 1 over 3 will change this sign to be plus 1 over 3. Then integral from 0 to infinity of exponential negative 3t. Remember du is what? It's dt. You close that bracket. Are we together? See, that one you found, vdu. V was negative 1 over 3, which you factorize outside to change this sign to positive, isn't it? Are we together? Then exponential negative 3t. Then when you substitute du, it's just dt. Okay? So let us carry on. Let me use this space. Let me use this space here. Even this one we no longer need, isn't it? Now are we together?
Yes.
So what do we have? 3 into this you found, substitute the limits. We have 3 outside, then substitute the limits. When here is 0, what do you have? for infinity, meaning this one, the whole of this thing will go to 0, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
See, when you substitute infinity, exponential negative infinity will be 0. See, 0 times all this will be 0. So it means that limit will be 0 minus, when you put 0 here, see, this will be 0, this will be 1. See, the whole of that thing will be 0 again.
Yes.
Meaning this, the whole of this part does not exist. The whole of that part is 0. Have you seen that? The whole of that part is 0. So we don't need it. You go to the second part here. The second part here, we have plus 1 over 3, isn't it? We have 1 over 3. If you integrate this, what do you get? If you integrate exponentials, it remains the way it is. Exponential negative 3t, then you divide by the derivative of the inner function, which is negative. Then you put the limits, isn't it? Limits is from 0 to infinity. Start. Remember, this 3 cancels with this, isn't it? So what do you remain with? 1 over negative 3 is negative 1 over. See, 1 over negative 3 is negative 1 over 3.
Yes.
Then in bracket we have exponential negative. Negative 3t is when we substitute the limit from 0 to infinity. So we have negative 1 over 3 into, when you have infinity there, you get 0. Then minus where exponential 0 is 1. So what do you get to be the answer? 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 over 3 is 1 over 3, which is 0 point. What is 1 over 3? 1 over 3 is? So the mean is 0.333. Are we together? 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 over 3 is 1 over 3, which is 0.333. Are we together there? Move to the next one. We are done with the mean. We are now going to the variance. How do we get that? The variance. So before you get the variance, remember this mean is the expected value, isn't it? Before you get the variance, you must get the expected value of t squared, isn't it? You must get the expected value of t squared before you get the variance. Expected value of t squared is going to be what? We are integrating from t greater than 0, from 0 to infinity of t squared f of t dt, isn't it? Are we together?
Yes.
So substitute, what is your f of t? So it is t squared f of t dt, which is from 0 to infinity, t squared f of t is 3 exponential negative 3t dt, isn't it? So what do you have there? So you have exponential t squared to be what? So you take 3 outside. See, 3 is a constant. Or you can just leave it inside there to make your work easier, isn't it? Just leave it inside there and you put, you are integrating from 0 to infinity, 3t squared, isn't it? 3t squared exponential negative 3t dt. You leave it inside there to make work easier. Okay? Are we together? So this is integration by parts, isn't it? So 3t squared is u, isn't it? Then exponential negative 3t dt is dv. Are we together? So this first part, this polynomial you learn to be u, then that exponential function dt is dv, isn't it? So what is u? 3t squared. So if you differentiate u with respect to t, 3 times 2, 60, isn't it? Then taking dt the other side, you remain with du is equals to 60 dt. So du is 60 dt. Are we together? Then, what is your dv? Exponential negative 3td. So for you to get v, you have to integrate to remove this dv, isn't it? You have to integrate. So that goes with that. You remain with v, isn't it? So v is if you integrate exponential negative 3t, you have negative 3t, then you divide by the derivative within a function which must be a constant. That negative 3 you are seeing there, isn't it? Are we together? So after that, you know, when you are integrating u dv, you are supposed to have uv minus integral of vd vdu. So start substituting. What is uv? 3t squared times this, isn't it? So this is u times v. See, 3 will cancel with 3. You remain with negative t squared, isn't it? Exponential negative 3t this times this. You remain with this negative, isn't it? Exponential that. Then you put the limits is from 0 to infinity, isn't it? Then it is minus vdu. What is your v? The vdu is this, isn't it? So this times this. See, 3 cancel here, you remain with the negative 2. See there? See, negative 2 will change this sign to positive. So it is now positive integral of 2t exponential negative 3t dt. Are we together there? So you see the reason why putting that constant inside is making work easier, meaning there is nowhere whereby you are multiplying everything with the constant. That is, when you factorize that constant outside, it's making work more complicated, isn't it? Are we together? Yes. Yeah, so you can see this times this will remain with the negative 2t exponential negative 3t dt. But negative changes the sign to positive. It was minus, now it goes to positive, isn't it? Yes. Are we together? You can see we've also left the 2 inside to make work easier. So from here, when you substitute infinity here, you get 0, isn't it? And again, when you substitute 0 in this 2, you get 0. So it will be 0 minus 0, isn't it? Meaning this term here is what? Is 0. Are we together? That term there is 0. And what is the limit here? The limit here is from 0 to infinity. So it means this is now what we are integrating, isn't it? So take that one back, take it here. So it means what is now your expected value of t? What is it now? What are we left with? So we are only left with this part. Because this first part has gone to 0, isn't it? We are now left with integral of, we are integrating from 0 to infinity of what? 2t exponential negative 3t dt, because the first part here has gone to 0. Is that okay? So this is now what we are dealing with. Integration by parts again, isn't it? It is integration by parts again. So here you have 2t is u, isn't it? Then exponential negative 3t dt is dv. Are we together? Are we together? Good. So what is your u? 2t, isn't it? So if you differentiate u with respect to t, so you get 2. Then if you take dt the other side, you get du is equals to 2d dt. You are done with that. Then what is your dv? Exponential negative 3t dt. The whole of that is dv, isn't it? Are we together? Good. So if you integrate both sides of the equation, here you will remain with v, isn't it? So if you integrate exponential negative 3t, it remains the way it is, then you divide by that derivative of the inner function, which must be a constant, and it is that negative 3 you are seeing there, isn't it? Yes. So from there, what do you know? When you integrate u dv, you are supposed to get uv minus vd. If there was u dv, there is vdu, isn't it? Are we together? Yes. Good. So, what do you have? uv, u times v, this times this. What do you have? Negative 2 over 3, isn't it? See, this times this is negative 2 over 3t. Negative 2 over 3t exponential negative 3. If you multiply u by v, isn't it? Then you put your limits was from 0 to infinity, isn't it? Then it is minus vdu, integral of vdu. What is your v? Negative. See, this negative will change this sign to positive. See there? v du. So this negative changes the sign to positive. So this times this, you get 2 over 3. See, 2 is in the numerator, 3 is in the numerator. See, that is 2 over 2 over 3 exponential TD this dt, isn't it? So you start. If you substitute infinity in this exponential function, it's going to 0. So this 0 will take the whole of these things to 0, isn't it? When you substitute 0 in this t, we'll go to 0. So it's going to be 0 minus 0, isn't it? Meaning this term is, the whole of this term is 0. Are we together? Are we together? Plus 1. So here, we now remain with, this is now what we are integrating from 0 to infinity. So go back. What is your new expected value of t squared? What have you found it now? We are moving. We've now found it is only this is what is left. Are you seeing? What are you left with? Integral of from 0 to of 2 over exponential dt. See, this one is no longer integration by parts. It is now new n. So what do you have? Take 2 over 3 outside. What do you have? 2 over 3 outside. What do you have? From 0 to infinity exponential negative 3td dt. Isn't it? So integrate that. It is no longer integration by parts. If you integrate exponential negative 3t, it remains the way it is. Then you divide by the constant of the inner function. The derivative of the inner function must be a constant, and it is that negative 3 you are seeing there, isn't it? Then you put the limits is from 0 to infinity. So take the constant outside. 2 over 3 divided by negative 3. 2 over 3 divided by negative 3. Negative 2 over negative 2 over 9 into exponential negative 3t from 0 to infinity. Are we together there? So start. This is now simple. It is negative 2 over 9 upper limit. When here is infinity, so you get exponential negative infinity is 0. It is 0 minus, when here is 0, see exponential 0 is 1. 0 minus 1, isn't it? So what do you have? 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 2 over 9? 2 over 9. So what is 2 over 9 into, what is 2 over 9 into decimal? 0.222, isn't it? 0.22. So you found the expected value of t squared to be 0.222. Now we now want the variance, isn't it? We now want the variance. So what is the variance? The variance of t is going to be this expected value of t squared minus the mean squared, isn't it? See, the mean was the expected value of t squared, isn't it? So this expected value of t squared, you found it to be 0.222. Then it is minus the mean squared. The mean you found was 0.333. Then it is squared, isn't it? What do you get to be the variance? Minus 0.333 squared. So you get 0.111. So the variance is 0.111. So if you wanted standard deviation, you simply look for the square root of the square root of the variance. Let's now get the median. The median is very simple. So if you let the median, if you say this, if you say the median is m, then you say when you are getting the probability, remember t is greater than 0, you see that? Yes. So the median, it means you are going to start from t between 0 to median value, meaning the probability from 0 to the median, you are supposed to be integrating from 0 to median. Are you seeing that? You are supposed to be integrating from 0 to median of f of t dt. And you are supposed to get a half, because median is a half of the value. The whole probability is 1, isn't it? Yes. So it means when you are dealing with the median, it's supposed to be equal to a half. Median is a half. Are we together? So it means the task here is to get m. Is that okay? Are we together?
Yes.
The task here is to get the median value. So start. We are integrating from 0 to median. What is your f of t? 3. Your f of t is 3 exponential negative 3 t dt. So if you integrate this, you are supposed to get a half because median is giving you a half of the probability measure, isn't it? The whole range is 1, so the median gives you a half. So start integrating. If you integrate 3 is a constant. If you integrate exponential 3t, it remains the way it is, then you divide by the constant of that inner function. The derivative of negative 3t is negative 3, isn't it? Then you put your limits is from 0 to n, which is equals to a half. Median is a half of the whole range of probability measure. So, see, 3 will cancel with 3. So when 3 cancels with 3, you remain with the negative outside. Then inside you have exponential negative 3t from 0 to m to be equals to a half. So here we have negative. When here you have m, what do you get? Exponential negative 3m. See where there is t, you put m. See that is now exponential negative 3m. Minus, when it is 0, exponential 0 is 1. Are you seeing that? We are substituting the limit. The upper limit you put m where it is, you get this. The lower limit you put 0, you get the whole of it to be 1. Exponential 0 is 1, isn't it? To be equals to a half. Take the negative inside. What do you have? So you have 1 minus that. Huh? Or you can take the negative on the other side of the equation. That is the simplest way. Negative going the other side, it becomes negative a half. See, that's the simplest way. Isn't it? You divide both sides of the equation by negative, isn't it? By negative 1. So you get exponential. This minus 1 is negative a half. So it means this bracket is no longer there because we've already removed negative to the other side, isn't it? So negative 1 going the other side. Negative 1 going the other side. See here you will remain with exponential negative 3m is negative a half plus 1. If negative 1 goes the other side, isn't it? Negative a half plus 1 is a half. So what is this? How do you get m? In exponential function, you introduce ln on both sides, isn't it? You introduce ln. So here we have negative 3m, which is the power becomes the coefficient, isn't it? So you have negative 3m is equals to ln over half. What is ln over half? That is ln of 1 minus ln of 2. You get a negative number. 0 minus ln of 2. Negative. Press in the calculator. ln of a half. ln of 0.5. So it's supposed to be negative. Negative? 0.693, isn't it? So how do you get m? So you divide both sides by negative 3. So this was negative 0.693, isn't it? So if you divide both sides by negative 3, what is m? 0.231. So the median is 0.231. You are done. The median was hot cake, a piece of cake. The median was a hot dog. Now you have found the median, isn't it? You found the median to be. What have you found the median to be? 0.231. So they want the interquartile range. Remember, the semi-interquartile range was upper quartile minus lower quartile divided by 2, isn't it? Meaning interquartile range is simply upper quartile minus lower quartile. So interquartile range is equals to Q3 minus Q1. Are you seeing that? So what is Q3? Let us start from there. What is Q3? The upper quartile, isn't it? So the upper quartile we are integrating, we are starting from 0 to upper quartile, just the way we started from 0 to median, isn't it? Yes. So we are starting from 0 to upper quartile of f of t. And what is f of t? 3 exponential negative 3t dt. And that one is supposed to be equal to, at upper quartile is what? 3/4, isn't it? The lower quartile is a quarter, the median is a half, the upper quartile is 3 quarters. So integrate from, you start from where t is starting. T is starting from 0 to the upper quartile, isn't it? Of f of t dt. Are we together? Yes. Good. Integrate. Now if you integrate 3, if you integrate exponential negative 3t, it remains the way it is. This is a constant, it's outside, isn't it? Then you divide by the derivative of the inner function, which is negative. Are you seeing that? Yes. Then you put the limits from 0 to q3 to be equals to 3 over 4. So 3 goes with 3, you remain with the negative, isn't it? See, this negative you take on the other side of the equation. See here, 3 goes with 3. So we remain with exponential negative 3t to be negative 3 over 4. This negative which is here, we take it on the other side of the equation, isn't it? So we have negative 3 over 4. Have you placed your limits here? From 0 to q3. So start substituting. When you substitute q3 here, what do you have? Exponential negative 3q3, isn't it? Then if you substitute 0 here, you have exponential 0 minus. See, this upper limit minus lower limit. See, exponential 0 is 1. Is equals to negative 3 over 4. So 1 going on the other side of the equation, it becomes negative 1 going the other side, it becomes plus 1, isn't it? So here we remain with exponential negative 3q3. Negative 3 over 4 plus 1 is negative 3 over 4 plus 1. A quarter. 1 over 4. So how do we get q? Here we have exponential negative 3q3, isn't it? See, we introduce ln. So you introduce ln on both sides. So this negative 3q becomes the coefficient, isn't it? Then ln of e is 1, isn't it? So the coefficient here becomes negative 3q3 to be equals to what? Ln of e is 1. Ln of a quarter. What is ln of a quarter? Ln of a quarter? Negative? 1.386. 1.386. So for you to get q3, you divide both sides of the equation by negative 3, isn't it? So if you divide both sides of the equation by negative 3, what do you get to be q3? So you get q3 to be negative 1.836 divided by negative 3, isn't it? 0.462. You are done, isn't it? Go to Q1, lower quartile. Go to lower, the lower quartile. So what is the lower quartile? Q1, isn't it? So Q1, the lower quartile, you are integrating from t starts from 0, isn't it? So it starts from 0 to the lower quartile value, isn't it? Of f of t dt. What is f of t? Is 3? 3 exponential negative 3t d. And the lower quartile is what? Is equals to a quarter, isn't it? The lower quartile is equals to a quarter. So start integrating. So if you integrate this, what do you get? 3 is outside. If you integrate exponential negative 3t, it remains the way it is. Then you divide by that constant of the inner function. The derivative of the inner function must be a constant. Then you put your limits is from 0 to q1 to be equals to what? A quarter. See, 3 cancels with 3. Then this negative, you take it on the other side of the equation, isn't it? So here you remain with exponential negative 3t from 0 to q1. This negative going the other side, it is going to be negative 1 over 4. This negative, if you take it the other side, isn't it? Negative 1 over 4. Put the limits. The upper limit, when you put q1 where there is t, you are going to get exponential negative 3q1, isn't it? Then it is minus lower limit. If you put 0 here, you are going to get exponential 0, isn't it? Anything raised to power 0 is 1. It equals to negative a quarter. So negative 1 going on the other side is positive 1. So it is negative a quarter plus 1. What is negative a quarter plus 1? 3 over 4. So start. You introduce ln on both sides, isn't it? So this side we have exponential negative 3q1. So if you introduce ln on both sides, So the power becomes the coefficient. ln of E is 1, isn't it? The power of the log becomes the coefficient. So here we get negative 3q1 to be equals to, that power becomes the coefficient, then ln of E is 1. ln of 3 over 4 is? Negative 0.72877. Then for you to get q1, you divide both sides by negative 3. So what is q1? Divide both sides by negative 3. You get q1 to be? So q1 you found 0.096. So after finding q1 and q2, you now go back to your interquartile range, isn't it? The interquartile range is q3 minus q1. So q3, which was the upper quartile, was 0.462 minus q1, which is the lower quartile, is 96. So in the end, what do you get? 0.366. So that is the interquartile range. So if they say it's a interquartile range, you divide by 2 same, isn't it? And what is a interquartile range? It's the quartile deviation. Are you seeing that?